Bruh.
The elemental power is.
Wait.
Is it muted?
No, not yet.
But yes, welcome to Day 3 of Speeches. We'll be live streaming on our YouTube account, so members are able to know each of our candidates' platforms. Just before we begin speeches today, we're just going to go over ground rules once again. As per always, please silence your phones, please be respectful to our candidates, and hold your applause until the end of each position is completed. Don't forget, there's no open food or drink is allowed. And lastly, speak loudly. Candidates, you will have 3 minutes and for 5 minutes for returning candidates to deliver your speech, and then afterwards you'll be asked one question. They will be in the back as our timekeeper today, and we'll have time cards indicating how much time you have remaining. Your time begins when you begin speaking, and you may start with your name, pronouns, year, and major. Before we begin, does any of the candidates have any questions? If not, we'll begin with our media candidates. We'll be starting off with Andre. So can I have the rest of the media step out of the room, please? Thank you. Feel free to begin when you're ready.
Hello, everyone. My name is Andre De La Cruz. I'm a second-year public health major going by he/him pronouns. I would like to take a second and be completely real with y'all that I didn't expect to be up here today. But that goes to show that I was able to grow a lot and take those major steps into being here right now. When I first joined Akbayan in fall 24, what really caught my eye was seeing people who shared the same culture as me. It made me feel like there was a space where I could belong. It made me feel as I could be part of a community that I would be able to be a part of. But if I'm being really honest with y'all, during my first year, I wasn't really that active. I mainly decided to join camp because I just wanted to build connections and meet people as soon as possible. Moving forward and going into my second year, I felt like I needed to take a step forward. That's when I decided to join internship. I wanted to build stronger connections, but also start figuring out what it meant to be a leader, what it meant to work in a group setting, what it meant to learn how to build and what it meant to learn how to build leadership skills. At first, I really questioned and pondered to myself if this was really beneficial for me and if I really had the time to even commit for this program. Having other priorities taking place, like planning to volunteer at a hospital, thinking about my classes, and even being involved in other organizations that I was a part of on my back really made me linger for a while and question if I should sign up for an internship. But I'm really glad that I decided to sign up and commit. And from there on, I didn't regret the decision during my time as an intern. Throughout internship, I was able to grow and learn a lot about my skills. And just through that program, I was able to learn so much about myself. I thought that my skills in photography and videography that I dabbled in were going to be left behind while I'm in college. But through internship, seeing how there were so many memories made, this allowed me to feel that my sense of creativity spark again. Through all these experiences, I started to realize how important this community is to me. The inclusiveness, the support, and welcoming environment this community has shown me has led to my reason why I'm currently up here today and why I'm deciding to run. During internship, there were so many moments where I was able to capture what was happening in those moments, but I didn't always get to keep those memories or share them in a bigger way. But when I looked at what our current media officers were doing and how they were able to capture those moments and show them to the rest of the community, it really inspired me. It reminded me why I even started photography and videography in the first place. That spark and strive to create again came back to me. If elected as one of your media officers, I want to help showcase towards others what this organization truly offers.
Your question is, please identify a weakness of yours and how will you continue to improve on it?
I'd say a weakness of mine that I could work on would definitely be group settings, working with a team, working in a group. As for me, I feel like as if I'm still trying to learn how to work with a group, and that I'm in ways I'm still learning.
Thank you. If so, we'll move on to our next speech. And then Jackson, you can come. And Johnny. And whenever you're ready, Elijah, feel free to begin.
Do I have to introduce myself?
Yes, please introduce yourself through your name, pronouns, major.
Hello, everyone. My name is Elijah Sadi. I'm a third-year business accounting major. A few months ago, I wouldn't even be standing here. During spring open house, I didn't know if I wanted to join Akbayan or even be an intern. But I thought that all the videos that they played were so interesting and looked really fun to be a part of, and I wanted to be a part of that. I thought I should spend more time on studies rather than clubs or organizations, but being part of this community has positively impacted me personally, but also academically and professionally. When I think about why I joined Akbayan, it's because I wanted to find my space, find my community, and be a part of something that could make me a better person. When I think about Akbayan now, it's much more than that. One phrase comes to mind throughout every experience I've had being here, and that's creating memories of a lifetime. I believe that everything I do today will stay with me forever because it's been impactful and important to me. That's why I joined Akbayan. To be able to have something valuable and be able to offer myself to others, and honestly, before Akbayan, I didn't think I would even be able to be someone who could have those memories because I was reserved, closed off, and unsure of where I belonged here at SJSU. But Akbayan really changed that. Through internship, I was able to be a part of a class who was a support system I didn't know I needed as a transfer student, but it was my gateway into Akbayan and SJSU, and I learned many valuable skills. Then came camp, which is how I was connected to my Kuya Josh and my Sibs Johnny and Dan. The connection that I share with everyone I've met reminded me that community isn't just something you join, but it's the sense of belonging and warmth you share. And I think that's something worth a lot. And then PCN. PCN pushed me out of my shell in ways I never expected. It taught me performing is something exciting and meaningful to me. And that's when it really clicked for me that I want to be someone who captures these memories of a lifetime so others can relive them too. As an intern, I had the opportunity to shadow media and take photos and videos at AK Volleyball, and that made me approach and interact with people I didn't know. And it was valuable to me to be behind the camera telling the stories that might otherwise go unnoticed. Looking at what Akbayan has given me and how much this organization has impacted my life in just 4 months, it made me realize how much I wanted to stay involved and be able to impact the lives of others as much as my life has been impacted because of y'all. I want to make others feel welcome the same way I was and to be able to share the memories that I can capture for everyone else. That's why I'm running for media officer. I want to continue creating and capturing memories of a lifetime for our community, highlighting our culture, energy, and the people that make Akbayan what it is. I want every member to feel seen, remembered, and proud of the moments they've been a part of behind the camera. I want to be able to capture others sharing memories of a lifetime. Thank you.
Your question is, what sets you apart from previous media officers?
I think what sets me apart from previous media officers is that I have experience being a media officer at community college. I was one of the media team members for the Filipino American Club there, and I think that I have a lot of skills to offer, especially with creating media such as flyers and videos.
Thank you. then Abigail. And whenever you're ready, feel free to begin. And don't forget to introduce yourself.
Hello, everyone. My name is Abigail Vargas. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm a second-year design studies major specializing in animation and illustration. Growing up, my mom was a very sentimental person. She would take photos of my siblings and I with her blue Sony Cybershot. I'd always get annoyed not seeing the point in taking all these photos when we can just live in the moment. Looking back on it now, though, I am my mother's daughter, and I now carry my own digicam with me wherever I go. I'm grateful I have these photos documenting my life until now, and now that I'm older, I understand the importance of capturing memories since time is fleeting, and being able to look back on media is important not only to see how much you've grown in age literally, and to see how much you've grown as an individual. To talk a bit about my experience with Akbayan, let's fast forward to my senior year when I was deciding on what university I wanted to attend. I wanted to make sure I had a prominent Filipinx community since it was what I grew up with, and I knew it would feel like I was just back at home. At first, I intended only to join camp. I was met with so much love when it was during reveal week, and I knew that this is where I was meant to be. Since then, I've learned so much more about what Akbayan has to offer other than camp. I pushed myself out of my comfort zone in joining internship, PCN Corps, and Media Corps. I've learned what it means to receive support and to give support, and how to be a leader. It has shaped me into a person that I never thought I could be. If elected as one of your media officers, I would work with my co's, my cabinet, and Media Corps for Nude to highlight all of your Akbayan experiences by immortalizing all of your candid, real emotions so that you can look back on these good times and so that future generations will know that you were here at this moment in time and that you existed at one point within Akbayan's 50 years of embracing and friendship. Thank you.
Your question is, what sets you apart from previous media officers?
I think what sets me apart from previous media officers is being on the first Media Corps and also experiencing all the shadow tasks that I did for internship. It has given me the opportunity to work directly with my potential predecessors, and I've learned a little bit about what being a media officer entails.
Thank you. Please not your first choice. Oh, you can come back. Yes, anyone can watch the faces. Everyone can watch your speech unless it's your own. It's up to you. Okay. Next, can I have Sophia? So forget to introduce yourself at the start, but we'll start the timer whenever you're ready.
Hello, my name is Sofia Rivas. I go by she, her pronouns. I'm a business major in concentration of business analyst. Growing up, I've always had a difficult time trying to find my identity, as my dad is Salvadorian and my mom was Filipino-X. We lived in a predominantly Hispanic neighborhood, and I was bullied for being Asian, and I was bullied for being too dark and from my parents for not learning their language. I never felt like I was being authentically myself. As I got older, I was able to get my life in order, and I was presented with an opportunity to transfer here. Moving from SoCal to the Bay was a very huge and difficult decision as I was living by myself, starting a new life, and living in a new environment. I was honestly scared and lost. I remember how my cousin told me about Akbayan. So I started to stalk their Instagram and went to take leave. I saw that they were hosting an info night, so I decided to, why not take the chance and head out. Internally, I was freaking out and I was honestly terrified to talk to anyone. Luckily, I ran into someone in media. She asked to take my picture and started talking to me. I honestly don't remember much of the conversation, but all I remember was I was feeling less stressed about attending. I saw how excited from everyone hosting the info night and how passionate everyone was. Um, and how passionate they were about the videos and everything they made. I began to think to myself, I want to do this. I want to be passionate about something that I work for. Because what better way to embrace my culture if I'm not passionate and in love with it? As I begin to change and learn, the people who I've met through this community has helped me shape and transform into the person I am today. I want to be the first person people meet and be able to be passionate about my work and put myself out there. I see our media team as a bridge to community and to the people outside of this room. To show what we love is through, I want to show what we love through the camera lens. And for being media officer, it isn't just taking pictures, but it's something I want to be able to show people that in Akbayan, I want to be able to show people that Akbayan is just more than just a culture, but the love that everyone has for each other and the community. No matter what you look like and no matter where you came from, I want people to be able to feel a sense of pride and confidence. I want to be able to look back and tell people about us. I hope through my creativity and work, I can show that.
Your question is, what does being a media officer mean to you?
Being a media officer means to me is just showing my creativity and showing my passion through what people first see when joining Akbayan.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Greetings. And then yes, music. Don't forget to introduce yourself, and your 3 minutes begins when you begin speaking.
Hello, everyone. My name is Layla Deloviar. I go by she, her pronouns, and I'm a business finance major, a second year. My first year at college, I remember stopping by the Akbayan table, asking questions, but it never really went anywhere. It all sounded interesting and fun, but it just seemed like such a daunting task to commit to a large organization and be part of events that I've never even heard of before. As the year passed by, I watched all the stories of people showing their auditing baskets and all the different events and flyers floating around the social medias. I couldn't really escape it, and something about this organization was always just lingering in the back of my mind. For some reason, I kept finding myself back at the Akbayan Instagram accounts or finding myself clicking on recap videos of events I've never even been at. At some point, it became a question of why not just try it out? It wasn't until this current year I decided to give this organization a real chance, and I dove in headfirst. I joined PCN, internship, and I even got picked up all in one semester. Everything about Akbayan was more than I could have ever imagined. Like many others, I found a sense of belonging, community, and purpose. If it weren't for those recap videos, I would have never been convinced enough to join Akbayan, and thus I would have never had these life-changing experiences. I know many of us share in the sentiment that Akbayan has played a significant role in shaping who we are today, and that we found a home and a chosen family within this organization. If elected, I want to create that spark of interest through the media I create, and the reason that potential members aren't afraid to take a chance on what Akbayan has to offer. I want to share that environment of love, happiness, and connection to a wider audience. Give people something to look back on and be proud of all their time, effort, and willingness to show up and be present. Give space and representation to the little moments, the sentimental speeches, and the big accomplishments. To not be afraid of showing emotions. And to be vulnerable with you all. Last year was a time of immense loss and tragedy for me. One of the things I wished so deeply for was to encapsulate the memories I have shared with the people I hold dear to my heart. to have something I could cherish even when the moment has already passed. And that's what I want to give back to this community that's helped me heal so much. If elected in this position, I promise to you all that I will handle this position with care, love, and consideration. Thank you for listening.
Your question is, how will you showcase the integrity of the Akbayan community and cabinet if elected as a media officer?
For me, when I'm taking pictures, I'll take pictures of real moments. I feel like nothing needs to be staged because I believe that everything we do in this organization, everything that cabinet does, is authentic. So that's how I will show the integrity of our organization.
Thank you. That concludes the speeches for our media officers. So I'll bring you back in. Y'all can come back. I'm gonna let Jasmine go first. And Jasmine, you'll go first. Don't forget to introduce yourself, and your 3 minutes begins when you begins.
Hi everyone, my name is Jasmine Rose Agne. I go by she, her, shy, no pronouns. I'm a third year majoring in forensic science with a concentration in chemistry, and I'm running as one half of PR officer for the 50th cabinet. Growing up in the Philippines, culture shaped everything that I knew. My home, my relationships with people, and my sense of self. But when I moved to America, everything changed almost overnight. The language, the community that I had built, it all changed. And for the first time in my life, I felt disconnected from who I was. As an 11-year-old little girl moving into a predominantly white neighborhood, all I wanted was to fit in. But this meant that I would become someone who I was not. And that was really the beginning of my search for connection and familiarity. I searched for a place where I could be myself, a place where I didn't have to question if I belonged. I found Akbayan in the fall of 2023, or maybe it's more accurate to say that I was called towards it. Walking down 7th Street, I caught a glimpse of a familiar pattern of red and blue. There, hanging on a canopy, the Philippine flag swayed in the gentle wind. I made my way over quietly, not really knowing what to say. I remember inching towards the table slowly, trying not to seem too excited until someone greeted me and invited me to spin the wheel to earn a prize. I won a small holographic sticker that day, but the real prize was a scrapbook that I was shown. It was filled with photos, moments of people laughing, performing, and just being together. And for the first time in a long time, I didn't feel like I was just observing a community. I felt like I could be a part of it. That moment stayed with me for a long time until I was finally able to join in fall of 2025. I realized that it wasn't just about finding a space, it was about stepping into one that allowed me to grow. Through camp, internship, PCN, and workshops, I found not only connection but confidence. I found people who not only supported me but challenged me to become more than I thought I could be. And that is why I'm here, standing in front of all of you. Akbayan is more than an organization. It is a space where people come in, search, and leave with something that will last for a lifetime. A sense of belonging and the confidence to grow into themselves. Public relations isn't just about promotion. It's about showing people what Akbayan really is at its core, and I want to be intentional in how we reach people, especially those who feel uncertain or like they don't quite fit in yet. I want to be someone who reaches out first, someone who creates space where people feel welcome not because they changed who they are, but because they were accepted as they are. If elected as one half of your public relations officer, I will continue to uphold what Akbayan has built over the past 50 years, embracing and friendship, and help create an environment where people don't just find community, but have the support to grow within it. Thank you.
Your question is, what does being a public relations officer mean to you?
Being a public relations officer for me means that I am a bridge between the organization itself and the people that are outside it. And I want to make sure that I really capture the heart of the organization and really make sure that people understand that we accept everyone and we are not just exclusive to Filipino-X communities, and we are not just exclusive to one specific gender. And
Thank you. Brandon, ready to introduce yourself, name, pronouns you major, and your 3 minutes begins when you begin speaking.
What was the last part?
Your 3 minutes begins when you begin speaking. And then whenever you're ready, feel free to begin.
Morning, everyone. I'm out of breath because I thought speeches were in DMH, but my name is Rando, and I'm running to be a 50th Cabinet Public Relations Officer for Akbayan SJSU. When I first joined Akbayan as a freshman, I walked into a room full of people I didn't know. A huge community, loud energy, faces everywhere, people screaming in my face, "Hi, Auding!" And I remember thinking, what is happening? How do I fit into all this? It was intimidating. But what changed everything for me wasn't just the special events or the big moments. It was the people, the everyday members who welcomed me, talked to me, and made the space feel like home long before I ever expected it to. And as I got more involved, that feeling only grew. My experience as an Amihan intern helped me learn what it means to work behind the scenes, to support, to listen, to collaborate, and to understand how much effort goes into making this community alive behind the scenes. And on the smaller side, as a fan for Aloha, I got to experience the heart of Akbayan up close. I got to see how fams grew, how connections of Koyates and Audings are fostered, how those who joined PCN or internship or core positions found community through their experience, and how Cabinet guided those looking for it. If I was taught anything by my experience, it's that this community is built by the people who don't always stand in the spotlight, the members who show up, who support, who bring the culture, the energy, the heart that makes Akbayan feel alive. And that's why I'm standing here today. I'm running for PR officer because I believe in the power of those people, the ones who might not always be the loudest, but those who make this community what it is. In a space this big, it's easy to feel overlooked. It's easy to feel like your story gets lost in the crowd, but I don't believe anyone should feel that way here. My vision is to create meaningful change by making sure every member feels seen, valued, informed, and connected. I want our PR to reflect the real Akbayan, not just the events, not just the announcements, but the people, the stories, the candid pictures taken by our media officers, the experiences that deserve to be shared. And as PR officer, I want to build a promotional and communication system that feels personal, one that highlights the members who make this community whole, one that brings us closer, even as we grow larger, one that makes someone walking in for the first time feel that same sense of belonging that I once found. I'm not just here to announce events or post graphics on Instagram. I'm here to represent you, the members who make this community worth being part of. I'm here to uplift the people who might not always get the spotlight. I'm here to make sure no one fades into the background. Akbayan gave me a place to belong when I needed it the most. And now I want to help create that same feeling for others, especially for the people who might be sitting quietly, unsure if they fit in, unsure if anyone notices them. I want them to know you matter here. And as my motto goes, belonging starts here. Thank you.
Your question is, what sets you apart from previous public relations officers?
What sets me apart is the fact that I feel I'm versatile. I feel like I'm well adjustable in many situations. I'm very able to express myself and adjust to many different situations and people. I think that's what makes a PR officer, that's what makes the role so unique, because you didn't have to interact with loads of different individuals. Those who might not agree with you might not have the same background as you, the same culture as you, the same experiences, and yet you still have something to learn from them. Something that you can take, some knowledge that you can take, some advice, even if it's the smallest thing.
Thank you. So you all can come back inside already. Before we go on to the next speeches, we'll go into a 5-minute break. So see you all in 5.
Oh, really?
Don't laugh, bruh. Oh, I should have gone this way. Ooh, honey. That was classic.
Okay. I would like to start my speech from a place somewhere far away from here. I live in a small island called Okinawa, Japan, to a Japanese mom and a Filipino dad. Going to a Japanese school, I was the only person who didn't look like everybody else, and because of that, I was bullied. Not just once or twice, but enough to where it slowly made me reject the other half of myself. Eventually, when I moved to America and California, I lacked the support of having my friends and family nearby. Because of this, I was hungry to get involved, and I wanted to build something bigger than myself during my time in SJ. So I joined Akbayan. I loved it, so I joined Camp Core. During my time in camp, I experienced something that really shaped how I pair the audings today. There was a special circumstance regarding my personal pairing as an auding that gave me the privilege to go through the auding process a second time, and honestly, it gave me a different perspective. It taught me that pairing is more than just a survey or interview. It's the conversations you may have had with an auding on campus or when you see them at an event. Their energy, their drive, and the way someone listens are all things I've learned to pay attention to because that's what the previous camp cores did before me. They listened to my situation with an open heart and an open mind, and because they knew my time with camp didn't stop at that one experience, and I want to do the same. I like to say at the end of the day, we're not just pairing a kuya ate and an auding, we're building relationships that can genuinely change someone's life here, like it did for mine and like it did for everyone else in this room. Now moving on to the more logistical side, possibly being the first nursing major on cabinet shoulders a lot of responsibility, and there are reasons why nobody has done it yet. When I told people I was running, the first thing they asked wasn't why I wanted to do it, but if I could even do it. And honestly, I understand why they asked. Nursing is demanding, it takes time, energy, and discipline, but what they didn't see is that I've already been doing it. During my first semester of nursing school, I was on my second semester of Camp Core. While balancing nursing school, clinicals, and working at a hospital, I learned how to manage my time effectively, how to actively communicate, and how to make time for priorities when time didn't allow. And I still showed up fully for this organization, even when we were stretched thin. We went through a year without a camp coordinator and even went the spring semester with only 5 Camp Core members. And in these moments, I didn't step back, but I chose to step up. I helped mediate conflicts, ensured auding still fit scene, and adapted to last-minute changes that weren't ideal. And I did this all because I knew our community still deserved quality pairings and consistency. And that's why I'm here today. I'm running for this position because even though it demands a lot of my time, my drive for this program is strong and is fueled by the love from the people I've met from this organization. But most importantly, I'm doing it for that little boy in Japan, the one who got bullied for being Filipino, who felt like he didn't belong anywhere, and the one who didn't know if there were people out there who would stand up for him. But because of camp, I look around at all the faces in this room, and I know that there's a community here for everyone. And I want to be that community for someone else, for that one auding who might feel lost, for that one person who just needs someone to see them, support them, and believe in them. And if I'm lucky enough to do that for at least one person during my term as camp coordinator, then I have done my job. Thank you for listening to my speech, and good luck to all candidates.
Your question is, why do you deserve to be elected for the camp coordinator position?
As previously mentioned, we were pretty stretched thin with this last school year. I would like to emphasize my time during my spring semester. During that time, I feel like I was really able to step up, put myself out there and put in a position where other people couldn't do the things that we did during that pairing semester. And I also believe because of my schedule, I was able to balance a lot of that and prove to other people that even despite all these time conflicts, that I deserve to be your camp coordinator.
Thank you. Wait. And I'll call you back. Again, Jalen, come up to the stage. Don't forget to introduce yourself with your name, pronouns, your major, and your 3 minutes begins when you begin speaking. Whenever you're ready, feel free to begin.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Jalen Pinocchio. My pronouns are she, her, and I am a second-year applied mathematics major. All my life, I have been searching for that distinct sense of community where I could be myself, express my passions, and feel welcomed and included. And I am proud to say I have never felt such a community until joining Akbayan. When I joined Akbayan in fall 2024 with the intention of getting picked up, I attended an AK movie night. Towards the end of the event, cabinet members came to the front to make announcements. I remember admiring their dedication to the organization and thinking, one day, that's going to be me up there. And eventually, I found out the person I admired so much became my ate. I experienced how the camp program changed lives firsthand. Through the program, I've made lifelong relationships and met people who continue to support me and help me recognize my growth within the organization. In my second year, I took the chance to join internship in Camp Corona, and eventually I became known as Tita Jelly. I knew that by being honored with this alias, I wanted to portray an image of strength and reliability to Audings and Kuya Ates. The camp coordinator position means more than just fulfilling parent goals and hosting events. It's about maintaining a safe, inclusive environment while also building trusting bonds. Maintaining a four-walled conversing environment and actively listening to concerns not only prepped me for this position, but also taught me to lead with compassion and empathy. Understanding people's perspectives and intentions is vital when trying to decipher what is best for Kuya Ates and Audings. The program is not solely reliant on its coordinator either. It is composed of the various efforts from core, fam reps, cabinet, and the trust of all members. Being on all sides of camp, from being an Auding to facilitating pairings to picking up as an ate, I understand the sheer amount of trust required in the camp core. I want to be a figure that alleviates that stress and reassures the community that their vulnerability and transparency are safe in the hands of the camp core. To best support the program, if elected, I aim to be proactive and a foundation for my core to grow. I envision encouraging fam reps to facilitate fam hangouts supported by the camp core to build stronger connections between fams. Additionally, I would aim to have camp play a more supportive role in getting Audings to attend events hosted by pillars with collabs, such as camp game night and potential workshops to increase engagement and connection within the community. As I reflect on the time I had in Corona and Camp Lantern, I understand that in my potential term, I want to build a safe space for Audings. I want to be a resource that members can rely on, so that if they choose to do so, they will flourish within the Akbayan community, knowing someone will always be in their corner. Thank you.
Your question is, why do you deserve to be elected for the camp coordinator position?
I believe I deserve to be elected as camp coordinator because I am able to balance the rigor that is required of the position while also maintaining that vulnerability and transparency that is required of core and me as a coordinator. It's very rigorous, like I said, so it's the mental strain and the mental game. I want to be that support system for Audings, but also have my core understand the toll that it can potentially take on them.
Thank you. Back. We'll now begin with our precinct coordinator candidates. So candidates, can you please come out of the room? And then I'll have Cindy come up first. And then don't forget to introduce yourself with your name, pronouns, merit, and major, and your 3 minutes begin whenever you begin speaking. When you're ready, feel free to begin.
Hi everyone, my name is Sydney Campwood. I am a second-year advertising major with a concentration creative and a minor in Asian American Studies, and I'm running to be your PCN coordinator for the 50th cabinet. In dedication to my mom, to myself, and to every human who sometimes loves a little too hard, you are appreciated and loved.
There once was a girl who gave all her love to the world, and in the end, she nearly forgot to care for herself. She watched her mother do it first. My mom grew up in Pangasinan, Philippines, with parents who came and went. She became a caregiver for her siblings before anyone ever thought to care for her. She learned that love had to be earned, that it always came with a cost, and she carried that into this country, into our home, and into me. I grew up watching her show up for everyone, even when she was running on empty, so I became just like her. Never said no, packed my schedule until there was nothing left of me in it, and I called it strength. Until one night doing club work, I broke, sitting on the floor crying, walls completely down, and there was my mom, who stayed up alongside me quietly without being asked. And something clicked. She had passed that exhaustion down to me like a family recipe, not out of cruelty, but out of love, because it was the only love she'd ever been taught. Maybe she learned that love had to be earned, and maybe I inherited that belief without ever knowing it. That pattern of pouring everything out and leaving nothing for yourself. I don't think it's just my story. I think it lives in a lot of us, in how we move in our orgs, our friendships, our families, and I think it's something we don't talk about enough. That is a story I want to put on the stage with PCN 39. Two people burning out and calling it devotion. Two sides of the same coin, both learning at the same time that this is their first life too. But beyond the show, that's also the kind of leader I want to be. Someone who builds spaces where people feel seen without having to earn it, where we create something meaningful without running ourselves into the ground to do it. I watched a video once that said, "What you are not changing, you are choosing." I want this PCN, this cabinet, to be what makes someone choose something different. That is the show I want to build, and I want to build it here with all of you. For my mom, unang buhay din nila, their first life too. Thank you.
Your question is, please identify a weakness in yours and how will you continue to improve on it?
One weakness I noticed in myself in the past few years, not only by being in PCN, but also being part of leadership, whether it be in social camp or PCN core, is that I love very hardly. And sometimes that can stray you away from your main focus and being logistical. But I also think that is a great strength. Despite me being able to stray away and find some distractions of enjoying the moment and enjoying the presence of the people around me, I understand that loving too hard can pull me away from the logistical approach. It can stray me away from maybe my academics, but at the end of the day, it's something that I still value in this community. Thank you.
Come to the stage. Don't forget to introduce yourself with your name, pronouns, major, and your time begins when we begin speaking.
Hi everyone, my name is Jonathan Fukushima. I go by he, him pronouns, and I'm a third-year history major. When transferring to SJSU, I didn't really know what I wanted to do with my social life and also with my cultural life. Before transferring, my mom really wanted me to join a Filipinx organization like what my sister did when she attended Cal Poly SLO. At first, I was hesitant. It was just something out of my comfort zone, but I eventually gave in. Attending my first meetings to become an auditing, joining the internship program, and eventually joining PCN as a core member gave me a warming welcome that I didn't really expect. Seeing how the cabinet was towards others, it was something I wanted to emulate so I could give people the warm welcome that I was given. However, joining internship in PCN gave me much more knowledge of things that I didn't know before. Not only in internship, but also in PCN, the workshops and presentations that I would give gave me insights into things that I haven't heard of before, that I didn't research or didn't really care to look at. These include like cultural dances and the phrases that are said throughout Akbayan. Much of the historical workshops that we had in the internship program and even the exposure trip brought back my passion to look more into the historical events, not only within the US, but also in the Philippines. Coming from a mixed background from both sides of my family, each side had stories that I wanted to learn, but also share to everyone. My great-grandpa on my mother's side was a World War II vet who survived the Bataan Death March, and my grandmother had stories of hiding from the Japanese during the war. My Japanese side, specifically on my dad, would put in the internment camps during the war because of their race. Both sides have stories that weren't really brought up because of how shameful it was to be in, and that gave me the determination to learn more about these events and push them to light so everyone can learn and prevent people from forgetting. For some reason, events like these caught my eye, especially after realizing that I could run for this position. It gave me the opportunity to finally push these stories like these to light. Bringing up these stories can change people, can create a deeper learning and accountability for people's past mistakes. It forces us to learn things that might be uncomfortable to share, but that is our history. Telling the untold is important to me. It must be brought to light no matter how bad it may be, and that is why I'm running for this position. PCN gives us this chance to tell these stories and gives us the opportunity to learn and remember what is often forgotten, and I hope to share these events. While PCN 38 Pomona was my first time doing PCN and I have little experience, I believe that my time in internship and the workshops that I've worked on shows that I am ready for this. And if I want to make changes to some things that go on in the production, I will listen to my core to make sure everything runs smoothly. I want to surround myself with my core to not only make sure things run smoothly, but also to make sure that everyone feels welcome in this production, no matter their experience.
Your question is, why do you deserve to be elected for the PCN coordinator position?
Like I said before, throughout internship, we were taught to like build on our skills of leadership and also going into like event plannings and workshops. And I believe that I do have the opportunity to show people that I am able to do these things. But then again, I don't have the leadership. But that's why I want to surround myself with core, because I know that with their support, things can run smoothly.
Thank you. And then if so, can I have our internship coordinator candidate please come up to the stage?
Reminder, you will have 5 minutes to present your speech, and then you will have one question after your speech. Your time will begin after your introduction. Please start with your name, year, and pronouns.
Hello everyone, I'm Jackson Tansioko. I go by he and pronouns, and I'm a second year data science major. In my family household, there hangs a framed poster right at the top of the stairs. In that poster depicts a photograph taken in a hotel in Stockton, California, 1930s, reading, "Positively, no Filipinos allowed." Despite the oppressive nature of this origin, it's honestly one of my favorite photos. And whenever I think about my personal identity as a Filipinx American, my mind always somehow lands on this photograph. I've always been taught to take pride in my cultural identity and in my history. I was constantly reminded where my family came from and the struggles and the challenges it took to get here. And it can all get condensed, I believe, into this one photo. This photo is not just a representation of the oppression and years of xenophobia experienced by our community, but however, a celebration of the hard work and decades of community building it took to get where we are. I, just like you, have the privilege to exist among a community of over 500 students that take pride and celebrate Filipinx culture and identities and stories and live among people that look just like us. My time in internship flew by quickly, but I'll never forget the privilege it was to work alongside a group of amazing individuals that inspired myself to be better and step in the role of leader. And then later on, my experience in cabinet, same thing, such talented and amazing and passionate individuals that inspired me to do better and look at myself and look within. If elected as internship coordinator, I will establish such a foundation and environment in which people can come as individuals and be heard with their unique life stories and experiences. And through this, my class will be one that recognizes the strength and differences, however, the strength in community. I will foster a space in which individuals will feel empowered through, however, and beyond their time in the program and will impact spaces beyond the internship or Akbayan scope as a whole. So Simone de Beauvoir has a quote in which he says, "To will oneself free is also to will others free." Your authentic and personal freedom is a condition and state of existence that is shared among all the people around you. The relationships we make extend the meaning of our freedom, and in order to be true to our authentic selves, we must extend our hearts out, where only our personal freedom could be achieved through the freedoms of others. As a Kalayan intern, which means freedom, but however, my internship class will be one that recognizes their identity and community as Filipinx Americans as an interconnected network with all other minority groups and stories that surround us. And that our individual stories and growth comes along with unity and growth as a class, where they are able to recognize the struggles within our community, however, as well as outside communities, and can advocate for the voices that are lost, especially within an administration that tries to silence them. The internship class wasn't always here in Akbayan, and its story is ultimately interconnected with the love letter that is the Filipinx American diaspora. And it didn't always look like how it did now. One of the first things I was taught in the program was no history, no self. The first internship class was 5 members, and now this upcoming graduating class is over 40. This program will continue to exceed what it is now, and Akbayan will continue to exceed and grow, not just in numbers, but in impact, especially in such a pivotal year, such as the 50th cabinet. Additionally, aligning with the current timeline of the Filipino-American History Mural emerging on campus, this is the perfect time to reestablish the traditions that brought us where we are, but also to go beyond these traditions to create a space that could grow beyond the time that we currently live in. I think that ultimately, to serve as internship coordinator is to grow a legacy you won't see. For the majority of my class, I probably won't be able to see how internship influenced them, what experiences shaped them to the leader they will become, or what memories they hold fondly in their hearts. Working alongside a cabinet, we won't see the garden come to full fruition. But nonetheless, the dirt on our hands, the calluses that form, and the sweat that drips from our heads will be evidence to the work and love that comes into such a sacred space. Growth won't stop when I end my term or when into and graduate, but it will definitely start in a space that is led with love, acceptability, and by anyone.
Thank you. Your question is, why do you deserve to be elected as internship coordinator?
I think my time in internship has very much developed my leadership skills, but however, has made me have such a fond spot for the program as a whole. Throughout my cabinet experience as cultural chair, I tried my best to advocate for the Mihan interns, advocate for their class, for their stories, and whatever they wanted as a class, and try to get the best out of their potential and what I saw in them. I think I deserve this position because I know I could do that the same with the upcoming class, and I know what it means to to build upon a legacy, to let people grow, to listen, and to let others, and to really just see like the full process come to fruition.
We will now move on to our academic chair position that follows. 5-minute break.
second year, currently majoring in biological sciences with a minor in Asian American studies. Normal. Normal? What is considered normal is a question that I've always asked myself after getting diagnosed with multiple sclerosis at 17 as a junior in high school. MS affects the way that I think, talk, walk, and see, but I didn't want it to put me down since I was really involved in my academics and extracurriculars. Going into college a few years later, I thought I would be that normal college student, with primarily being on campus for my classes, then going to work for my first job, dare I say, job. But I thought wrong. I piled up on too many and long shifts, didn't study enough, and didn't have much time for myself outside of class and work. I didn't even consider doing extracurriculars or even joining Akbayan at the time because I didn't want to add even more work onto my plate. Eventually, at the end of fall 24, I failed Chem 1A, my GPA dropped lower than 2.0, and I ended up being on academic notice. I was so petrified because I thought I jeopardized myself after my first semester of college. With having a career goal of becoming a teacher, I questioned if I could ever become one after the small bump on my journey to becoming an educator. Although we aren't defined by our grades, I felt so devastated with feeling lost in learning something that I used to enjoy. Despite feeling lost and while being on probation, I joined Akbayan last spring 25, and joined camp and PCN. And something clicked for me to realize that I'm human first, student second, and everything else third. From that, I was able to get back on my feet and find that motivation to manage my time more wisely, pull myself out of the soft side of Boston, and got myself onto good standing and remembering what it was like to be a student again and to be a part of a community with people that I can rely on. If elected as academic chair, I want to help guide members and other students throughout the school year to avoid failing a class or getting to academic notes/probation and help those get themselves back on their feet if they're feeling lost. As scary as it sounds, I want to help people recognize that there is still light at the end of the tunnel, even if they're getting close to failing a class or on probation. And also help them find a direction they can get themselves to achieve something to find their sparks again. I hope to host workshops and with tips and ways to help attendees balance and prioritize their time. For that first year me that was on probation, attending a workshop and talking about finding balance got me to recognize that there are 24 hours in one day. But how could I balance or place the puzzle pieces together to delegate my health, personal life, academics, and work? If elected, I want to guide members and students toward success. Success doesn't necessarily mean 100% complete, but at least to be something that they're able to do and be proud of something that they're able to achieve.
Thank you. Your question is, in the past few years, academic chairs have focused on mental health within their term. How will you still uphold academic excellence towards cabinet, cores, and interns while still advocating for mental health?
So sorry, can you repeat the question again?
Yes. In the past few years, academic chairs have focused on mental health within their term. How will you still uphold academic excellence towards cabinet, cores, and interns while still advocating for mental health?
The first thing I do want to ask for cabinet core and interns is to ask them how are they feeling? How are they feeling at that moment that they are right now? How are they feeling with everything that's going around, like both academically and also in their personal lives? The second thing, like how are they feeling in regards to their academics? How are they able to achieve? Are they able to? How are they feeling? Like, are they doing well in their classes? Are they falling behind in their classes? I want to be able to have them make sure that they're on track and find a way that they are able to get themselves on their feet in ways that if they're feeling that they're falling off a cliff, because I want to help them. I want to help support them in any way that I can.
Reminder that you will have 3 minutes to deliver your speech, and afterwards you'll be asked one question. Your time will start after your introduction. Please begin with your name, years, and pronouns.
Hi everyone, I'm Tyler. I go by he and pronouns. I'm a third-year business management major. Growing up, I never really had that freedom to be who I wanted to be. I was conditioned to follow the expectations of those around me, and honestly, I let the pressure get to me. It got to the point where I was afraid to make decisions for myself. To be completely transparent, SJSU wasn't just my last choice of a college, it was the only option that was allowed. I had no means or support to pursue the goals that I wanted to pursue or even the dreams that I wanted to chase. I felt lost. It wasn't until my second year of college when I joined internship where things changed. I didn't know anyone or what this organization was about, but at this point, I just wanted something new in my life. I didn't want to be the one to hold myself back anymore. And that's when it hit. I caught myself meeting the most wonderful group of people. I made memories that would last a lifetime. And I discovered how life can feel like when you're truly supported and valued by the people around you. And all it took was that one step to try something new. Being a Kalayan intern and a part of academic corps, I gradually learned to express myself more. At first, speaking up didn't come naturally to me, but it was those small moments where someone acknowledged me that over time, I felt heard. It may have taken me longer to grow compared to my peers in internship, but that's okay because everyone grows at different paces and growth isn't linear. Academic success is not defined by how you perform in the classroom. It's not any grade, any label, or any judgment that's put upon you. Success is rooted in growth and choosing to move forward. Going through these experiences changed me for the better. At the end of the day, regardless of the struggles I may have faced or the opinions people may have towards me, I have no regrets because these were struggles I chose to endeavor. If elected as academic chair, I want to inspire others that it's okay to feel like the world is against you. I want to encourage others to try new things and be who they want to be because no matter how many times you fall, you can choose to fall forward. Thank you.
Your question is, what set you apart from previous academic chairs?
I believe it doesn't have anything to do with my qualifications, skills, or experiences. I think it's my willingness to grow. I think being someone that does want to grow and inspire others to grow is something that I think aligns with this organization and something I want to uphold.
Thank you.
And Bradley, take your picture.
Don't forget to introduce yourself with your name, pronouns, year, and major, and your 3 minutes begins after your introductions when you begin speaking. Other than that, the floor is all yours.
Hello everyone. In case you don't know me, my name is Bradley Haraguchi. I'm a second-year CS major and I go by he, him pronouns. Now, when I joined CORE about a year ago, I wasn't really planning on giving back to this community. It wasn't until I was surrounded by a lot of people who were really involved in it. I didn't really understand why they wanted to be super involved. So I was like, oh, let me see what this is all about. And I applied, got the interview, come from an educational background and a technical background. So I was expecting more of getting drilled on my educational background, maybe a live demonstration, technical. And I got sat down and asked by someone, I'm gonna guess that we know who do you want to be? And how do you want to grow into that person within this role? And that's how I knew something was up, right? That this wasn't your typical professional development opportunity. And I walked out of that interview thinking I bombed it. I was not ready to answer those questions. And I got an email. It honestly looked like a rejection. And it was actually just a pivot into becoming somebody a little bit different. Instead of College of Science representative, I got campus liaison. And from there, nothing but transformative. I mean, you're doing speaker panels, these workshops, this long event planning, and you're taking pictures after it. You're going to core bonding. Like, this is something which is completely foreign to me because I'm so used to just sitting in a room and being expected to provide deliverables, right? I come from engineering, you've got a bunch of people and they're just telling you to have value in this way. And for the first time in ever, for a position of power, I felt like I was valued as an individual, not just as some deliverable that I was supposed to provide for somebody of some value. I was so used to just providing value, not as being a person and being valued for being a person. And that's what the human first is really all about, right? So I look at that community and I look at these bonds that I've shared with these people, and I honestly don't see them like as coworkers, like I really expected to. I try to be really professional. I see them as an extension of my family. That's a really weird thing, right? And maybe it's because it's centered around a Filipinx organization and that's what I'm used to, but it has been nothing but an amazing experience. And that's what we want to provide for people. You want to sit people down and say that they are more than a degree, that they're their own individual, and that even despite their failures, that they're going to be chosen again and again and again, right? I want to provide that experience for people where they realize that you're sitting down in a check-in and it's like, okay, I don't want you to fail. I want you to succeed. But if you fail, I want you to know that you are still valuable as a person and that everybody is working on their own timeline. And it's that medium of support, right? That matters so much to people. And of course, you're here as a student as well, and you're going to move on and you're not going to be able to control everything. And that's kind of the point. You come to college and you're here to learn, to grow and experience, and you're not here to have it figured all out, right? College is a journey of self-discovery, and we want to tell people that. And we also want to help people get to those goals. And since you don't have it all figured out, I want to leave that impression on people that we want to try to help you get there. And you don't have to have it all figured out. I think some of them close their emails in a way that puts it best, but we ball. Thank you, everyone.
Bradley, question.
Oh, my bad.
Okay. For your question, please identify a weakness of yours and how will you continue to improve on it?
I think I already said it, but I come from a very professional background. And this is the community that has shown me that the professional and personal boundary is not very thick. So at least for me, this has been coming with moving with intention. So by being an authentic person, you can navigate this background of, I really want to move towards this goal, but I also am doing this from the bottom of my heart. And hopefully people can feel that, and trying to be more vulnerable and trying to be somebody who is more available is a very intentional effort for me. That's sharing people my calendar, that's checking in with people, and that's something that I've been currently and actively working on, very proactively. I hope the people around me can feel it. So it's just that, being available, changing my brand from someone really professional to someone personable, trying to work on something.
And then next up, could I have our social care candidate come to the stage?
So please stand a second.
As a reminder, you will have 3 minutes to deliver your speech. There will be timekeeping in the back, dictating how much time you have left. After your speech, you will have 1 question. Please begin with your name and your pronouns. Your time will start once you begin speaking.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Bianca Crisostro. I go by she, her pronouns. I'm a second-year majoring in MIS, and I'm running to be your social chair for the 50th Cabinet. When I first started at SJSU, I knew absolutely no one, and I saw Akbayan as my opportunity to meet new people and make friends that I could lean on for the next chapters of my life. However, at every event I attended, I talked to absolutely no one, and I burdened myself with hopes of someone just magically appearing to be my friend. I kept hoping for when, maybe later, surely next month. Eventually, I came to a breaking point as we got closer to winter break, and I still hadn't talked to anyone new. So coming back, I joined internship in PCN, and I didn't know what I was getting myself into, but I wanted to focus on where I was and who I was meeting. I wanted to focus on being in the moment. And even despite the strenuous work I had to do, I still was able to enjoy it all by focusing on the moment and worrying less about what ifs, worrying less about how I was perceived. I took in the present, and the lighter my brain was, the more fun I had. Going into my second year, I knew I wanted to be part of Social Corps. At the time, I didn't see myself taking the lead in anything, but I wanted to be there to support everyone else in finding a way to ease their way into the community. As someone who grew up introverted, I know what it's like to be scared to take the first jump. So I wanted to be there to support people in taking their first step. During my time on Growtopia, and as I watched everyone grow, I remembered why I want to be the leader. I want to be the foundation that people can depend on, be the safe space that people can go to branch out and meet new people, and I want to be the person to look for when you don't know where to go. I realized that I want to be social chair. If I were to be elected as social chair, I would host more captivating events and workshops by providing more clarity and the simplicity in their purpose, allowing participants to focus on more on the moment and what they're doing, rather than being confused on what they think they're supposed to do. My events and workshops would range from chill things like making figurines with clay while sitting back and chatting with others, to more lively events like a paintball-style water fight for members to bond through teamwork and communication. I want to work with the other pillars in finding ways to incorporate their knowledge into the workshops and events that Social Chair would host to remind members of how much their presence can impact themselves and the community. No matter who you are and where you come from, I will ensure that members feel welcome and they know their presence is valued. If I have the chance, I would lead with the intention of being in the moment. I know how easy it is to get caught up in the hypotheticals and regrets of the past, but my goal isn't to be an erasure of everything that could ever happen, but to be a way for others to take in the experience of who they're with, where they are, and what they're doing. To feel the same fulfillment, happiness, and gratitude that I felt within Akbayan. To take the time to enjoy the moment. Thank you.
Thank you. For your question, what sets you apart from previous social chairs?
What sets me apart from previous social chairs is that I used to be scared of socializing, and as I grew older, I've reached out and I've learned how to put myself in another perspective, see myself differently, to learn how to socialize with other people and find fun in it, to enjoy being social.
If I can have our culture chair candidate please come to the stage. And then don't forget, before you begin your speech, make sure to introduce yourself, your name, year, pronouns, and major. And your 3 minutes begins once you start speaking after. But with that, the stage is all yours.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ezekiel Dane Tubu Ruiz. My pronouns are he, him, and I am a first-year aviation science major with a concentration in professional flight. I was never in any high-ranking club positions, and I don't have any history doing anything for Filipinx clubs or organizations because, quite frankly, I didn't have that. My friends here in the Bay at my old school in Hayward went off to become the officer team of and create a beautiful pasta that would become home to many homesick Filipinos. And they would go on to do many great things, like host a Libing Chinelas drive for children in the Philippines. Meanwhile, I was stuck in Texas, dealing with people who would slide dead cockroaches in front of me and ask, "Don't your people eat that?" I want to step into this position and become a cabinet member, not for professional experience or growth, but to serve people like me, who wish they always had spaces like this growing up. And for those who are constantly missing home, because I want them to know that you are capable of finding and making a home here too. Akbayan is a very large platform with an extensive reach and a beautiful network, and it is especially important that this platform serves as the microphone for the voice of our ancestors and our people today. The Philippine Islands are a beautiful mosaic of cultures in the same way Akbayan is a beautiful mosaic of cultures. And I cannot stress enough that we must use this platform to create those connections with each other and beyond because there is unity in our diversity. I believe every workshop, every lecture, and every event is a conversation with our audience. And if elected, I want to start that dialogue that sends us across oceans. June 3, 1571, Battle of Bangkusay, Burning of Manila. Martin de Goiti and his crew found Manila Bay to be the trading hub of the archipelago, with local polities being these walled and heavily fortified kingdoms equipped with cannons, firearms, and many riches unbeknownst to us today. The people, noble or slave, were adorned in gold and precious stones, and the women were draped in silk. When Manila burnt down, Goiti's officials wrote back to the Spanish crown saying Spanish forces effectively burned down and overcame the local forces. However, local oral tradition and contemporary account reveal that it was Raja Sulaiman's call, the king of Manila, because scorched earth is an indigenous war tactic, ensuring that the enemy won't benefit from our ashes. The Spaniards left in a hurry because they knew they couldn't secure the bay in that moment and because they were scared. But yet this image of the valiant Spaniards swiftly overtaking the bay, negotiating with local kingdoms, is ingrained into people's minds. And in the words of Tariq Sulaiman of Macabebe, may lightning strike me and may the sun cut my body in half, if ever, even just for a moment, I become a friend to the Castilians. Filipinos historically never back down for their truth, and knowing this, I'm inspired to be cultural chair to protect that truth. My goal thus far in internship and whatever it is that I do in Akbayan is to make our niche history known, because our own stories should never be a mystery to us. Knowledge is never something to be gatekept, so I want to take that image of gold-plated, silk-adorned Philippines and run with it, but to also be proud of what we were taught to be ashamed of. From the simplest garments like the bahag to the humblest bahay kubo and the most off-putting dish you could think of, I want us to be proud of that first. To be proud to eat with our hands, to be proud to be chalant, to be proud to be a little dark. All the things I mentioned are never something to be insecure about. There's a line from a really old Kapampangan folk song from the depths of the Spanish colonial era, and it goes, "Whoever finds the ring I inherited, I will worship them, I will worship them, I will worship them." And for us Kapampangans, it's commonly understood that the speaker is our ancestors, the ring is our heritage, and the person who finds it should be all of us. So if you are to vote, don't vote just because it's me or because whoever. Vote because it's the voice of the ancestors that speaks for itself. Thank you.
Your question is, why do you deserve to be elected for the cultural chair position?
Can you repeat it?
Yes. Your question is, why do you deserve to be elected for the cultural chair position?
I deserve to be elected for the cultural chair position because of my experiences and my views growing up. I'm not somebody who's coming to this position to learn how to be Filipino or to learn about our history, but to come with the truth and having been immersed in that truth.
So sorry.
And I'm rooted, like I said, I'm rooted in that truth to not gatekeep our knowledge and to not gatekeep our practices. And I want to go forward and I will maintain that as I have my whole life.
Thank you.
I'd like to now have our community and political affairs candidate come to the front. Reminder that you will have 3 minutes to review your speech. There will be timekeeping in the back depending on how much time you have left. Your time begins when you begin speaking, and you may start with your name, pronouns, year, and major.
Hello all, you know me as Liv Orapilla, who goes by she, her pronouns, a third-year design studies major concentrating in animation and illustration that's also minoring in Asian American studies and sociology. Beyond that, I am a member of the League of Filipino Students, PAWIS, and an intern under Lead Filipino. But at my core, I am a student activist with a desire to serve as a bridge for all of you to connect to the greater community. A year ago, I would have not been able to say any of that. A year ago, I would have kept my head down and avoided something like this. But thankfully, a year ago was when I started my civic engagement journey. To be specific, last year on May 1st was when I attended my first protest. If you aren't aware of what today is, it's May Day, otherwise known as the International Workers' Day. A day to celebrate the labor movement, advocate for labor rights, and to stand in solidarity worldwide. My friend Holly was the one who invited me to a May Day protest. I genuinely had no idea what I was getting myself into at the time. All I knew was that this was something I generally believed in and that I wanted to support my friend. Upon arriving at the protest, I was greeted with a warm welcome, multiple rounds of introductions, and a constant check-in to make sure I was okay. I felt extremely liberated at that protest. I was inspired by everyone's passion and dedication to their values, and I wanted to do the same. That's where I officially became a member of LFS, and that's what encouraged me to join the internship class. The Community and Political Affairs Chair has been vacant for the past 2 years, and I think now is a more crucial time than ever that it is revived. With the current state of the country right now, politics doesn't have the best reputation. However, I think that's the very reason why it's important for us to be involved. We reside in a country where its systems were not made with people of color in mind, where Filipinos have once been viewed as exotic, uncivilized, and a spectacle for white Americans' entertainment. And in the Philippines, it's rich in natural resources, but the people continue to remain poor due to exploitation and feudal systems within the countryside. Additionally, there is corruption amongst its government that is backed by the US. Where we live and where our families originate from are all very interconnected. It's crucial that our voices continue to be heard, but it's even more important for us to remain educated on these issues and struggles that the greater Filipinx community face. When Kuya Allen mentioned on Election Info Nights that we as members have the opportunity to shape the legacy of something as big as Akbayan, I took that to heart. If elected as your Community and Political Affairs Chair, I hope to utilize my position and my resources to encourage my fellow kababayan to embrace their heritage, to truly understand the Filipinx people's struggle, and to care about what has happened, what is current, and what might happen in the future. Thank you.
Thank you. For your question, why do you deserve to be elected for the co-chair position?
I believe that I deserve to be elected for the COPO position due to my qualifications and my background in civic engagement. Like I mentioned, I have a background with attending protests, attending and hosting educational workshops facilitated by the League of Filipino Students, and my general connections to other local Filipino organizations out there. But additionally, I always acknowledge that there is more to learn and that things are constantly changing. And so I am not shy to acknowledge when I lack in information and have no problem with referring people to others that I believe are more informed than I am.
Thank you. We will now go into a 5-minute break. Please be back by 10 for Japanese. will have 3 minutes to deliver your speech. There will be timekeeping in the back indicating how much time you have left. Your time begins when you begin speaking, and you may start with your name, pronouns, year, and major.
Hi, I'm Harry Pashon. My pronouns are he, him. I'm a third-year psychology major. If I told my first-year self that I was running for secretary, he would have been doubtful and silently worried for me. But deep down, I know he would have been proud, as although I was very silent and much more anxious then, I always wanted to work hard enough to stand here today in front of y'all confidently with no doubts and worries. Joining AK through camp, I was quite closed off and wasn't sure of anything within the organization. I would often be confused about the process and did not even want to go through with some events, such as missing out on PCN 36 due to fear and belief that I have to be perfect. But eventually, I would slowly push myself to do more things each chances I got, even if it was by little, because I wanted to put myself out there no matter how nervous I got. Through my experiences such as PCNs and internship, I met so many inspiring people who have supported me. I always doubted myself and thought I couldn't support others like that. But I had learned that you don't have to be perfect to make a difference. Supporting others does not require one to be perfect, but more so to be present, consistent, and willing to put in the effort. I want to be secretary not only because I feel that I'm dependable and committed to make sure things run smoothly, but also because I want to be the backbone of an organization that helped me grow from a reserved, unsure person to someone standing here today. Wanting to give back by taking on a role that not only supports CAB, but also the org as a whole. I want to be the support that helps others grow, as this community was the reason I did. Thank you.
Thank you for your question. Please identify a weakness of yours and how will you continue to improve on it?
A weakness of mine, like I said, is I tend to be hesitant on actions that I want to do. I want to improve by speaking more from my heart than from my brain.
Thank you. We will now move on to the treasurer's speeches. If I can please have Sean come forward and for our other candidates. As a reminder, you will have 3 minutes to deliver your speech. There will be timekeeping in the back, and you will have one question after your speech. Your time begins when you begin speaking. Please start with your name, year, and pronouns.
Hello, everyone. My name is Sean De Leon. I'm a second-year physics major, minoring in mathematics, and I go by you and pronouns. And I'm currently running to be your next year's treasurer. During my first year of college, I was always curious about what Akbayan was whenever I passed the table on 7th Street. Back then, I was a drastically different person. Some may find me unrecognizable when compared to who I am now. And who I am now is thanks to what this organization has been able to give me. I joined completely by myself, not really knowing anyone at this university at all. And I hoped that by joining, I would be able to fix that. After attending Info Nights, I became interested in joining the internship program with the same goal of making friends, plus the added benefit of getting professional development. During my internship graduation, I can confidently say that I have achieved these goals that I set for myself when initially joining. However, along the way, I had found something else, and that something is what persuaded me to want to be your next year's treasurer. I had found the passion and joy of giving to our community. I had found joy in seeing members of Akbayan devote their time and effort to events that serve the community, and watching and hearing that the audience felt welcomed and accepted, while hosts felt jubilant and elated after seeing their vision become a reality. I had found myself delighted at hearing how my fellow interns expressed the amount of growth they've undergone because of this program, and gratified in seeing how much I've grown myself. I found who I am because I became a member, and these are what make up my why. If elected as treasurer, I would continue to use the skills that I have learned from being part of PCN Core and an intern to help build a strong and transparent relationship with cabinet. I aim to be personable and vulnerable with them to build great chemistry and to foster open and healthy communication. I'll act the same way with everyone to an extent, to build an image of cabinet that makes us approachable and personable, a cabinet that truly connects with its members.
I'd maintain professionalism, remain organized, and determined. Along this, I'll remain stern yet constructive and respectful. I'd also use my time in cabinet to innovate it and optimize it, potentially lessening the workload on cabinet and me. Some current ideas include tap to pay, more efficient organization, and automation. All of this to enable and ensure that our members can truly give it their all in their passion projects, into making their visions real, into giving people such as myself an opportunity to grow and prosper as I have. Becoming treasurer, working behind the scenes, is what will allow me to do this. It will allow me to give back to the community that inspired me to grow and has given me a home that I desired my first year here. And that is why you should vote for me. Thank you.
Thank you for your question. Please identify a weakness of yours and how will you continue to improve on it?
I definitely say one weakness I have is overestimating the amount of work I'm able to handle. And to be able to tackle this problem, I just feel like I have to be more realistic within myself and also be able to communicate whenever I feel like, or whenever I start feeling that the workload is too much for me to be able to handle in a healthy manner.
Thank you. We will now start with our next candidate. As a reminder, you have 3 minutes to deliver your speech. You will be asked one question after your speech, and they will just keep you in the back. Your time will begin once you begin speaking. Please start with your name, year, and pronouns.
Hello, everyone. My name is Arvin Flores. I'm a third-year radio, television, film major, minoring in theater arts, and my pronouns are he. Heading into this last school year, I had so much self-doubt in my mind. Would I still be able to continue involving myself within Akbayan? The doubt and stigma around me kept telling me not to, but I knew I wanted to prove myself that I was capable of serving this community. I came in with one goal, to give back with the same respect and kindness that this space has shown me. As treasurer, I would want my term to not only focus on the logistical side of the position, but lean more into the supportive aspect of it. Yes, this position is about making financial decisions, managing budgets, and staying organized. But it's also about supporting my cabinet members throughout their own journeys. Being a team player to the rest of my fellow cabinet members is one of my biggest priorities. I want my cabinet members to know that they're not doing this work alone. On the other side of the coin, I believe in myself to make important financial decisions, whether they are planned ahead or made on the fly. But I know that to make that happen, it means holding people accountable with set deadlines for budget requests. Making those deadlines clear will allow for a better workflow throughout the rest of the year. As a member of eBoard, I want to be as consistent and transparent as possible. Being on cabinet does not mean abusing a higher position or acting above anyone else. It means being trusted to serve. It means being a welcoming face to any new or current member. It means showing people that leadership is not about power, but responsibility. I want to prove to people that I am capable of being a leader within Akbayan. I love this organization with a passion, and that passion has given me the strength to persevere through all of the hardships I have faced. I want to leave you all with my why. Akbayan has given me a place to belong, and my love for this organization has only grown stronger. Through every core, program, and relationship I've built in Akbayan, I am proud of how much I have grown. I've always wanted to serve this community that has given me a home, and I will not take this moment for granted. Not only is this my redemption story, but it's also a privilege to both to educate members, create social spaces, and continue building this community that once built me. My name is Arvin Flores, and I would be honored to be your treasurer for the next academic year.
Thank you for your question. Please identify a weakness of yours and how will you continue to improve on it?
One weakness of mine is being heavily emotionally driven. I believe that in my past, I've been able to work on this by continuing to build on how much I've truly been able to grow myself as both a community leader during multiple core positions and being able to be a welcoming face both in the community and outside of it. Being a treasurer not only means being an e-board member, a cabinet member, but also being a member to and friendly face to everyone else.
Thank you. We will now begin with our Vice President's candidate speech. We're about to have our candidates in the front. As a reminder, you will have 5 minutes to present your speech, and you will be asked one question after. Your time begins once you start speaking. Please begin with your name, year, and pronoun.
Hello, everyone. My name is Emily Du. I go by she, they pronouns, and I'm currently running to be your vice president. I'm a microbiology major, 3rd year. The first time I heard about Akbayan was in my senior year economics class. My classmate told me about it, telling me to join. All I said was, all right, maybe, but I had no real desire to be a part of this. Akbayan didn't cross my mind at all till my first semester of college, fall 2023. I followed my friend to a fall info night just so he wouldn't have to sit alone. I didn't feel like joining. I was way too busy with classes to concern myself with anything else. While I was wrapped up with being annoyed that I couldn't go on my phone, the lights turned off and Barangay 46's Spring 2023 Camp Reveal recap played. I was suddenly reminded that I promised myself to be authentic in college and that I'd embrace my identity to its fullest. If you know me personally, you know that my second semester, Spring 2024, was an absolute wreck. In times of darkness, I turned to art to prove to myself that I'm still capable of creation, even when I have nothing else to give. I picked up my camera, I romanticized my life with every single shot, taking photos that filled my walls. I used all of those prints, put them all over my room, and used them as a reminder that life is worth something. I went about my 3rd semester, fall 2024, creating over and over again, and life slowly started to feel like it was worth it again. But I still didn't come back to Akbayan. I remained withdrawn from everything, focusing on school and the people that I loved. I was scared of being a part of something that I could lose. I didn't think about Akbayan again until my 4th semester, spring 2025, when I got nominated for the position of media officer. I laughed out loud when I got the DM. I was surprised that anyone even believed in me enough to nominate me for a cabinet position. I joked about it a lot, but part of me, deep down, yearned to feel like I was a part of something again, to create a community filled with love, rather than just for my bedroom walls. I went about all of election season with low expectations. I didn't know much about Akbayan, nor did I have any familiar faces to look at during my speeches and my panels. I jumped into everything headfirst with nothing but my undying love for creation. And before I knew it, my name was called at end of the year banquet. I was thrilled that people believed in my art. I finally felt like I belonged somewhere. Through my 5th semester, fall 2025, I got used to being around people again, constantly smiling, creating, and capturing. And for some reason, I still felt like I was out of place, like an imposter, like I didn't really belong here. By my 6th semester, spring 2026, I realized that I do belong, that people do love and look up to me. Coming back to this community has taught me so much. I've learned to stand up for myself, to be authentic, and that I'm capable of making change. This term has taught me to fight, to advocate, to create media core with my co's, to give the community a chance to grow with us, to advocate for the needs of my co's and my cabinet, to fight for my successors, my community, and not just for me, but for the future. Polaris 49 and this term as 1/3 of your media officers has taught me that I'm capable of loving again. Loving my co's, all of you listening to this, and the community that believed me when I had nothing. And also logistics, thank you. The role of a vice president is to be the human first of cabinet, to the community as well, to be the support system and to lead with love. I'm eternally indebted to this community and the cabinet for showing me what it means to not only lead a community, but to be a part of it. To love the community with everything you have and to love myself above all else. My growth is undoubtedly credited to this cabinet and community and all of its love. This love has rendered me capable of choosing to lead once again. Going into Akbayan's 50th year, Now is the time to bring our community together, to strengthen our bond and to love hard, to connect old and new generations of Akbayan through decades. Through the decades Akbayan has spent serving the community, a lot of growth and change have taken place. To embrace in friendship is to embrace change, while leading on the values that have held true in these past 50 years. If you all believe in me one more time, and if I'm elected to be your vice president, I promise to return all of the love, to give back what I was blessed with in my time in college, even if I rejected it as first.
Thank you for your question. What does being vice president mean to you?
To me, being vice president means to be the human first for cabinet and for the community, because we always preach human first, student second, everything else third. But what does it mean if there's no one there to keep it in place, to make sure you are all taking care of yourselves? Because when you get lost in the sauce and you keep working hard for your deadlines and to have the community or give the community someone to look up to, it's really hard to take care of yourself sometimes. So if elected as your vice president, I will make sure that you all love yourselves first.
Thank you. That concludes speeches for our vice president. We will now begin speeches for the president position. As a reminder, you will have 5 minutes to deliver your speech. After your speech, you will be asked one question. Your timer will start once you begin speaking. So please begin with your name, year, and pronouns.
Hello, everyone. My name is Faith Lauren Castro. My pronouns are they, she, and I'm a 4th-year biochemistry student. Growing up, I wasn't exactly that cultural. When my parents moved here, they really wanted me to emphasize being more Americanized, fitting in with the culture of America. I thought that I knew enough about my culture growing up. I thought that because I knew the food, that I knew everything about what our culture had to offer. But it wasn't until high school where I started to really learn what it meant to be a Filipino. It was my first introduction to cultural dance, and from there I knew that this is what I wanted to do going into college. My introduction going into college to Akbayan was my cousin that never was a part of Akbayan but knew that I wanted to be a part of something bigger than me. My first ever major event within Akbayan was friendship games during Barangay 46's term. I felt such a strong sense of community from not only Akbayan's members, but our Triforce counterparts and many of the other schools and organizations that were in attendance. Getting picked up and experiencing the mentorship of the camp program has given me a strong sense of leadership and guidance that will carry on past my Akbayan experience. My first PCN 35, continued that feeling of community, love, and gave me a stronger connection to my culture than I had in the past. During my first year, with all of these experiences combined, I truly understood the spirit of Bayanihan. When I first joined Akbayan, these were the 3 things that I really wanted to gain from my experience. I wanted to find a community of people who came from similar backgrounds, to feel seen in a space where there were people like me. I wanted to learn about my culture since I didn't feel connected as growing up. I wanted to learn about how I could feel more Filipino. I wanted to learn how I could grow into a leader, how I could step out of my comfort zone. But never did I think that I would have run for cabinet positions twice within my Akbayan experience, let alone for president. During my current term as PCN coordinator, I have been blessed to share my passion and vision for the program with not only my cabinet, but with my core and my PCN cast. And as we got to that final stretch of the program and to election season, I reflected heavily on my term and as PCN as a whole. The messages of my PCN were the strength in community and the power of solidarity. And a lot of the reasons why I'm returning for a second term is because of this messaging, because of the community that I've seen built within my PCN cast. To hear my cast members say that they joined just to find community or a sense of family, a sense of belonging, and seeing them accomplish it by the end of the program is something that warmed my heart endlessly. When I first ran for PCN coordinator, a lot of my why was rooted within my personal reasons, but I also ran with the intention of leading a legacy. To continue, and after going through my first term, I realized that I want to keep leading that legacy, to continue to foster that growth within not only the 50th cabinet, but with the Akbayan community.
There is still so much room for me to keep growing as a leader, and by pushing myself to run for this position, I am taking that first step. I look back at my current term with a lot of nostalgia and love. Polaris 49 has taught me so much and helped me grow in ways that I never thought I could. I struggled a lot with being vulnerable, with being honest about how I was doing, whether that be every check-in, every meeting, and at some point it bottled up and came out during my PCN season. I now look to the future and realize that I want to continue to support another cabinet, to bring their visions to life, to give them the same support and love that I felt during this term. And as we come up on the 50th cabinet, we do have to acknowledge that where we've come from and where we're going. The traditions that have been set by our predecessors are especially important to uphold and to respect the 49 years that foregoes the 50th cabinet. We have to acknowledge that we wouldn't be here without them and to honor their legacy. Moving forward, I want to collaborate with external organizations as much as possible, including other cultural organizations. And in a time where minorities are constantly faced with turmoil, it's important now more than ever to continue to connect with other organizations and stand together, especially in spite of the current administration. This is to emphasize that Akbayan not only stands with our own community, but with the broader community of minorities as a whole. I want the 50th cabinet to not only grow, but to be confident in their growth by the end of their term, to stay rooted in their whys and their goals. I want the next cabinet to know that the decisions that they make will set the tone for the next generation of Akbayan. The 50th cabinet will face a lot of challenges and make a lot of new traditions that may seem overwhelming or daunting, but I will be there for this cabinet as their rock, to lead them to success no matter what. Strength and vulnerability. This will be the groundwork of my term if elected. Oftentimes, we refer to our events as cabinets events. Although we have our separate positions, we are all a part of one cabinet. The 50th cabinet will be strong in their struggle because it will be 50th strength and 50th vulnerability, not our individual positions.
Thank you. For your question, what does being president mean to you?
Being president to me doesn't just to mean being the face of the organization or being one of the first people that outside organizations contact. It means to be there for my cabinet no matter what. It means to support my e-board no matter what. It means to constantly lead the next cabinet to success no matter what happens. It means throughout any kind of adversity or strife that we may face, that I will be there for them to see it through, even if it seems daunting and impossible.
Thank you.
Sorry. That now just concludes speeches for our 50th candidates. For some quick reminders, our candidates will be tabling starting next week, and the voting form will also be released starting next week. So please stay updated on our Instagram for those updates, and thank you all for coming today.